Hey there everyone, welcome back to the video. Today video about the understanding file system, work structure and HTTPS in depth. So what is the file system and file FSM operations? So now let's start the video of the our today what we are going to learn about in this video. So we are understanding the file system, work structure, and HTTPS. So I have created this simple for our today video topics. Uh, in today video, we are gonna learn the file system, work structure, and HTTP and HTTPS in depth. So first, to learn HTTP and HTTPS, we are introducing the file system. File system definition of and basics, common types of file system, and understanding file system work structure and components and organizations. So I think organizations we not going to cover in this video. It is not important also. And our third module is introduction to HTTP and HTTPS. Definition and basics of HTTP, key concepts of HTTPS, and fourth is our HTTP protocol in detail, request and response structure, HTTP methods, and status code. So status code means you might got it, but the status code like that when error comes like 401 and 400 error, when network doesn't comes, and or say when we open a website and it doesn't work, then 401 is in um, status code comes. So what is that? We'll understand in this video. So now let's start our first module, introduction to file system, or say definition and basics. So first we go to the NodeJS website. Simply you have to go the NodeJS website, official website, how this will open, and you have to go docs section, click the doc, and this is the NodeJS official documentation, and here are lots of table of content available and that live top to bottom. So we are going to learn about the file system. Here is an available. This is the file system, and in the down layer there is HTTP and HTTPS, which we will learn in this video. So there are tons of topic, but we have to only look that topic which is important for our project and which will actually impact in our backend video. So we'll only focus on file system in this module. So we will click the file system. Then here is also tons of topics. Here are tons of topics. You can see here how much these topics. Lots more. So we're going up and very much because it is a Node.js module, Node.js documentation. And here is one thing I have to teach you, that if we come in a file system, then click again file system, then here is a simple file system, some documentations. So we have to simply require the FS module. There is two FS module, and here is a CGS and ESM. And if we click this button, then changes. If you click CGS, then this will changes. So we doesn't go to the ECMAScript module. We have to open the CGS. CGS means common JavaScript. So to use promise-based API, to require To use the FS model, we have to require this. We copy this and we open the VS Code. And by the way, I'm not using VS Code. I'm using the Cursor AI. Cursor AI, if you don't know, Cursor AI is an AI generated software. It is like a VS Code, but it is integrated with AI. So in this AI era, you have to move on. You have to learn quickly in this AI era. And it is now 2025 is coming. Now 2025 is coming and 2024 is ending. So you have to upgrade it to a better version and you have to use the AI to get a more leverage. So um, I have this VS Code, but I'm using Cursor AI. So how can you download this AI? How can you download this Cursor AI? You can go cursor.com or I will give the link in the description of the cursorai.com official website and you can simply type in URL and the website opens the AI code editor. This is like a VS code and it's a VS code generated and look like it's the best like amazing website here. And they are updating more versions and you can simply go and check it out the whole websites and you have to simply download it. I have already downloaded so um, you can download here for Windows and you can watch them also. How can we install the Cursor AI? So Cursor AI can help you to fix your bug and to code faster. If you're stuck in the code, then you can simply ask the AI, Cursor AI. It will help you so much. And in this video, we will use Cursor AI rather than VS Code. VS Code is also good, but it is an AI generated and it is integrated with AI, so that is okay. So we are learning the FS module, FS system. We simply copy this FS module here, and I will click and make a file fs.js and simply require it. Now FS module is required. So to explain you some about the FS module, I will open my Epic pen. Epic pen is opening, I guess. Where is Epic pen? So okay. So we require the FS module. So now we have required the FS module, and now FS module this FS module require the variable. We use this variable. So now this variable has the power to use FS to create files, to read files, delete files, and update the files. So we have to delete this first, and we have to use the second callback and async API. We simply copy this, and the buttons will be open in CJS. We have to require this FS module because this is promise-based API, and this is callback and sync API. So what are the differences? I will explain you in the video in the upcoming while the video is in the while you look this video and you can see the difference between this promise based API and sync and callback based API. Okay, so I will call this, and you can simply remove this also node modules also. So now let's see some FS node, file system nodes. I'll click this file system nodes, and today file system operations we have to we are going to learn about the how can we create a write file, how can we append file, how can we copy, rename, unlike, delete, creating folder, reading folder, and reading file. So it will cover up very fast. So let's go. First, we have to create a file. We have to create file, writing, write a file or create a file. So we have to go to the NodeJs official documentation and look at them. So I click here, and we have to go in the top of it, and so I have said that there is a we doesn't use promise based API, we use async and callback based API. So differences is that promise API, so promise API have different methods. So here is a file. You can see that there is a lot of methods like from here to here. Fs promise dot constants. Then callback API method comes. And callback API have also lots of. And from fs dot write ev, this is the fs callback API method. And after that there is a synchronous API. In synchronous API also lots of things, but we only focus on the callback API, or say synchronous API, sorry, asynchronous API. So here is also lots of method, but first we have to look how to create a file. So how can you create files? So we can create files through our method called I'm scrolling, write file. Where is the write file? So here is the write file. Okay, here is the write file. I simply click it. Simply click, and here is a method. So for beginners, it's like complicated. What is it going on here? So fs.write file data. I simply zoom it and look at here. Simple syntax. This is syntax. Syntax means what? Syntax is a rule. Syntax is the set of rule we have to follow in our coding. In coding, we have to follow syntax. Syntax means it is a set of rules. So here is a simple syntax of fs. What happening? fs.write file, fs.write file, and in the curly brace, in the open bracket, here is a file, data, and callback. So how can we apply in the fs model? So I simply copy it and I commented the syntax. So now, if you know that we have required the fs and we have created one variable, now fs has the power to use fs module or power. Okay, we can write in operations. So fs dot write file, capital F, write file, and it is saying that file. File means what? File name. File name. So file name means what? File name is like server.txt and comma and data. Data means what? What we have to put it in that file. Write file means we are creating a file. and server.txt is called the file name. And data means what we have to put it in that file, like mm, JavaScript is a programming language. JavaScript programming language, and we have to write a comma. And if you notice that data, and it is open bracket and options and comma. So this is all the data value, data syntax. We have to put value. So now comma and callback. Callback means what? A function. Callback means always function, that you have to remember that callback is always a function. So we write here, and then simply go. If it doesn't know, then in callback it takes what? Callback takes an error. Callback takes what? An error. If there is any error, then we can simply go and write the if all thing is right, then console.log done. Else console.log confusion. So if there is any comes error, then done, and else file is not created. File is not created. File is created. So this is a simple callback, and Control G, we can get a terminal, and it is a basically it is a Node.js. Okay, we are using a Node.js, and fs we require fs. Then in Node.js fs comes. So fs is a child and Node is a parent. So we have to use node fs.js file name, and file is created. File is created. So we can see here the server.txt, the file has been created, and JavaScript is a programming language. If we see here, so just look at here the syntax. We simply require fs. We simply require fs, and we want to create a file. Then we write a method dot write file. We then dot write file. Then here is a file. File means what? File name. File name means what? We write the server.txt. If we write here server.js, then what happens? Server.js, or say we write our default txt. We write .txt file name, and what we want to put in the data. Like we put in the colon. Colon is important. We write the simply open bracket, and JavaScript is a programming language. This is a data. So this is a file, and in the file there is a data called JavaScript is a programming language. Nice. And here we have to write a callback. So callback takes an error. If there is any error comes, then we have to handle it. Then so if error doesn't come, then file is created. If error comes, then this is checked, and else files is not created. Simple as that. Let's move to our next file operation. So now let's talk about the append files. So what is append files? So append files means if we want to add something in our files. Like we have created write file, and in that file we have created called the server.txt. In that server.txt we have write the JavaScript is a programming language. So now, if you want to add JavaScript with a programming language, and it is used in front end and back end as well as. So if you want to put this data, then we can add that particular file some data. So how can we add the data in the particular file we have created? Now let's go to the um, code editor. So this is our file we have created through write.file. Write.file we have created server.txt. In that server.txt we have write that this is the data. JavaScript is a programming language. Now we have to add some data in that file server.txt. So we open our node documentation. So node documentation, we go to the file system. In file system, we go down to the callback API and we search the append file. It is here, append file. Okay, so I will click append file, and in append file here are our simple syntax. Here's a simple syntax of append file how we can add the data in server.txt. So we will copy this syntax and right here about append file. So now we simply fs dot append file. We simulate append file and path name. What is the path name of our file? Path name file is our server.txt. Server.txt, comma, and what we want to update in that in the data of server.txt. Like in the server.txt, there is a JavaScript is a programming language, and it is used in and JavaScript is a programming language is the data of we created file. We want to update it. JavaScript is a programming language and it is used in frontend and backend, and it is used in frontend and backend. Backend, comma, it takes a callback error. If error comes, then how can we handle it? How can we handle it? So add here curly braces. If if error comes, then simply write console.log console.log file is not created, and we pass the error. And if there is no error, then console.log file is created. File data is not updated. I say updated. update updated file data. File data is not updated. File data is updated. File data is updated. File data is updated. So now here is also file is created and file is not created. We have to do this first. File is not created. Error. If error comes, then file is not created. Will execute in a console, and if there is no error, then file is created will be executed in the terminal. So now we are using a node, so we have to write node file name fs.js. So file data is updated, file is created. So I'm going to simply comment it out because have only to print this logic. what we have created here. Okay, so we go to the server.txt, and so it is updated. The data is updated. How it is updated? Because when we create the file, then it is only this much data. But we have updated, we have appended in the data. We override it from it. So this is how we can append a file. And now let's go to the next topic, which is our copy file. So this is checked. So this is completed. And now let's go to the how we can copy a file. So we again go our node documentation. So we can simply go node documentation, and we go to the top, go to the top of the website. So I think this much only. So now next our topic is how we can copy a file. So this is the copy file syntax, how we can copy a file. So we simply just copy, C, and so now again fs is compulsory now. So file, copy file source. So what will be our source? So um, we have to make one folder called um, backend, backend, backend. So now let us write the source. So what is the source? The source is called our folder name. Source is our dot slash backend and test. Test means what? Let's go to the documentation. So here is some documentation we have to read also sometimes, and it is very important to reading the documentation. So source means what? Source is a file name to copy. You understand? I have right here one of folder name. What the documentation is saying? Source file name to copy. We have to write here server.txt. What do we want to copy a file? Source file. Okay. So next our destination. So DST. DST means designation of file name to copy the copy operation. Copy operations. So we have to write here the where we are copying this folder. We're copying this folder in dot slash backend if I'm not wrong, and we have to mm, handle the error. If error comes, then we have to handle. If I will copy this again and again, this same thing I'm copying. So okay, so now delete this link file data or the file is not copied successfully. Successfully, COPIED copied, and file data is successfully copied. File is successfully copied. It is meaningful. File is successfully copied. So if we run this, and I hope we don't get error. I will comment it out. Comment this later. So your file is not successfully copied. So here is we get the error. Here the folder is empty. Our server.txt is not successfully copied in the backend folder. So now let's debug it. Um, File server.txt, and so I will simply go and ask the chat GPT also. Let's see how we can do this. And we have to read documentation also sometimes. So here is our code, how we can copy the folder, how we can copy a file. So we simply write this. So we have to import copy file also. Have to import copy file and source txt copy to the txt. So source txt and file versions. We have to require the copy file also. So now I go to chat GPT and ask how we can copy our file. Let's chat through chat GPT. Mm, so here is a chat GPT output, and we have to write fs copy file source path. Source path is server.txt, and our designation of files. I have to say that our designation of files means where we want to copy that file. We have to copy that file name slash backend folder. But we have to write again the server.txt to copy that file. To copy that not file also the data present in that server.txt also. So we have to we have already handled the error also. So and next is some key points. You can also use the asynchronous version of you prefer. So this is the synchronous way to how we can copy file, but we are using asynchronous way to code. This is the asynchronous. So I will teach you what is asynchronous and synchronous, but simply you can understand that synchronous is synchronous code is executed line by line, and asynchronous code takes some time to execute the code. That is simple brief about asynchronous and synchronous code. So we are writing asynchronous code, not synchronous. So if we run this fs node.js, and it is said that file is successfully copied. File is successfully copied. If we see here, then server.txt with its data, JavaScript is a programming language, and it is used in frontend and backend. It is copied file. Okay, so this is how we can copy a file, and we have look at through how we can understand the syntax which will provide in the official Node.js documentation. And if the error comes, how we can use Chat GPT or say AI tools to code faster in 125. So now let's go to our next topic. Our next topic is rename file. Rename file means what? Rename file means, so this is check. So I'm talking about rename file. So rename file means if I want to change this server.txt into node.txt. So this is the simple way to how this is simple way how we can rename the folder. But in the coding, how we can change the file name. So let's see how we can change the file name. So we have to again go to the top of the website. Now we are coming to renaming the file name. So renaming file. So here is the rename file. So rename file we have to have clicked it, and so now rename file. So fs is required and dot rename. This is I think you understand it. So now the actual logic is our start from here. What it say that old path, comma new path, and it takes a callback. Rename takes three parameters, that is old path, new path, and a callback. Let's discuss about it. So let's copy this syntax and rename file. So rename file fs dot rename rename. So our old path. So what is our old path? Our old path is server.txt. So we want to simply rename it server.txt to node.txt. So new path will be what? Node.txt. So it takes a callback. If error comes, we can simply handle it. And I simply copy this and yep, nice. File is successfully is not successfully renamed and file is successfully renamed renamed. So if we run this, and I will simply comment it out and let's run it. The file is successfully renamed. File is successfully renamed is we get the output, and the output we have get the server.txt is successfully renamed from the our file also. Look at here. In the previous it is server.txt, but now it is node.txt. So this is how we can simply rename a particular file. It is quite very easy. So if I again revise it, we simply write fs.rename and we simply write our old path, our old file name is server.txt. And our and what we want to update our new file name. New file name should be node.txt. If I write here the coding.txt, then just look at here. Okay, just focus on here. Just focus on this file. I will write this. Then here, file is not successfully renamed. File is not successfully renamed. So I think that this creates an error. Write this comment out and file is successfully copied in our file directory. What happened? What happened? Okay, okay. Actually, now our old actually our old file name is now node.txt. Node.txt. So this is how the error comes and how we can debug it. So now the file is successfully renamed. Look at here, coding.txt. So now this is an old file. Okay, so this is an old file. So we have to delete this and we have to write code.txt and what we want to update it like JavaScript. JavaScript. If I run this, then what happen here? Again comes error. So it is spelling mistake, grammatical mistakes. It is quite normal in backend and programming. So file is successfully renamed. File is successfully renamed. Now javascript.txt is an old file name. Okay. So now let's come to the next topic. Our next topic is unlinked file. What is unlinked file? Um, check. So unlinked file means what? Unlinked file means we have to delete that file. We want to we if I want to delete this particular file, then how can I delete that particular file? But this is a VS Code software. If I click this and delete it, and it is deleted. So here is not no any files. So in programming, how can we unlink? Means how can we delete that file? Now let's see how can we unlink a file. So how can we unlink a file? Let's see. Now let's see how can I unlink a file. And so we have to go the official NodeJs documentation, and we click the file system. In the file system, and we are using callback API, and sorry, the unlink file. Unlink is here. Unlink is here. So go to here, and what is the code of the syntax of unlink file? This the unlink file text what? Unlink file text path or say a file name, and it is a callback. But we have to write this link, link, and path. It's called what? File name, which is we want to delete this fs.js with the path name fs fs.js be the callback response. Sorry, then take response. It takes error comes. How can we then what should we give an output to the user? Mm, I think the copy. See? We have write this file is successfully unlinked. And if we run this, then it will take time. Mm, it's taking quite time. Let's see. Now, the file is successfully unlinked. So you can see that file.js is now unlinked. It is deleted. And if I write here again, mm, and I copy this, basically we are just changing the file name. We're changing the file name. We're not gonna be doing any different stuff. We just write the file and path. We only change the path name. If we write this, the JavaScript txt, if we do this, but now fs.js has become. So we will link to so again we click this and look at here. File is successfully unlinked here. fs.node mda is only left now, but the our javascript.txt and fs.js is successfully unlinked. It is deleted now. So that is simple. This is how we can unlink a particular file. Simple syntax is that fs.unlink fs.unlink, and we have to write a path and then write a callback. If error comes, then we can pass the error called file is not successfully unlinked. We can pass that error to the user. Now let's come to the next topic, unlink file also clear. So how can we unlink a file? We have already know about it. So let's talk about delete file. So delete file. Also, now let's talk about the second this operation topic is about creating folder. So how we can create a folder? Let's go. let's comment this and let's talk about. Actually, this code is in fs.js. It again comes and created in the terminal. So if we delete this particular file in the code, then it again created. If it is in another folder in the file it is created, then it can probably delete. But actually this fs.js is written in this code file. So we cannot unlink the file there. So we are writing the code in that place and we unlink that file. So this does make a sense. Right? We unlink the javascript.txt, then it is deleted. It is in another folder. But fs.js is written in this folder, this particular folder, so it cannot delete it. It will recreate. If we delete it, then here comes in as a red highlighter will open. Um, Next topic is how we can create. Now let's use an AI and look about how we can use AI and get a leverage through the potential of artificial intelligence in the program. So let's see. So I'm using the Cursor AI, and I'm talking about the I have already Cursor AI. So you have to go in your browser in any browser. You have to simply write here cursor, cursor.com. You have to go cursor.com, cursor.com, and you have to download for Windows, or if you are using Mac, then it is available in Mac also. So you watch demo also, and it is an AI powered coding for developers. It is developer and it is trusted by engineers at Shopify, OpenAI, Replicate, Midjourney, Midjourney, and what are the AI tools popular? It is they are trusted. So it is very fascinating for the developers, and it is free. Like in the Google, in the GitHub Copilot, we have to pay the subscription, but in this AI, Cursor AI, we doesn't have to pay any money. So now let's see how we can use AI to generate a file. So you can see here the how it is very powerful to generate a code, and it is debug also. So it is frontier intelligence and secure. Feels familiar. It feels familiar. I mean, it is like a VS Code. Keep all environment. So let's go and let's see. Quite times here. Any common object. I think I have so I have to find the create folder. How can we create write stream? The stream CP icons. Mm, there is not any. So we have to ask the AI how can it be used. Happen this. So you can open the Cursor AI and you can simply write a shortcut called the I write here write write code which and we can folder for this operations. If you didn't know how to prompt, then you can go to the OpenAI documentations and you can simply go and learn about how you can use prompt engineering very um, easily, and tactics, the methods which we have to follow in while prompting and while generating answers. So I hit enter and it is thinking about it. It gives an error. Sorry, it gives an answer. So here are two options: Control Shift Y plus Control and Control Shift Y. We have to accept it, and if the code generating errors, then we have to press the control, and we can simply control arrow get accepted. Control enter, control enter, then it is we accepted the code. Like what the AI gives us the code, gives us. So here is simple um, syntax of how we gonna create a folder. So here's a clear syntax. So first I will explain what is going on. FS, you know what is it? NKDIR. NKDIR means how in the directory folder we are creating a file, a folder, and the path what will it goes. So path means what the folder name should be. The folder name should be backend, and it takes a callback error. If error comes, then folder is not successfully created. If error not comes, then folder is successfully created. This code will run. So run it in terminal, we clear it, and node. If we hit enter, then look at here. What is happening here? Folder is successfully created, and look at here. Backend is created. If I again write another folder name, like if we use then I write here do then what happens? The folder is successfully created. Error exists. File already exists. Folder is successfully created. So this is the round folder and this is the backend folder. So I have installed an extension of VS Code material called that extension. So if we install that, then if we create a folder with a meaningful folder, then it shows a logo of folder. Like a route folder, we have route folder to create a route in a URL, then route folder like that, and the backend the icon should show this type of icon. So this is not our part of money. So we have created create folder. We can create a folder through this model. So when we write simply mkdir and we have to write a path. So what should be its path? Like in this case, in this code, there is a backend path. In this code, and in this code, there is a route path. So it is the route's name. It is a path name. What should it be? So and it takes a callback. It takes a callback. If error comes, then successfully created a file folder, and if error not comes, then folder is successfully created. That is simple. So now let's come to the next topic is our how we can read a folder. we can read it. We simply use the chat use AI also, but it is like if we know about it, we have to only use AI. If we doesn't know about the basics and foundations topics, sorry, foundational uh, things and some simple things, then AI is not good for you if you are as a beginner. So I go to the Node official documentation and I go to the how we can read file, read. So here is the read file, how we can read file. So we have to write a simple fs read file. So now how we can read it. And the syntax will be the copy it. And this default fs dot fs is important. Fs file read file and path. So I write here backend. I write here JS. So base in route I write here user dot simple plus condition else I add a function code. So now we have got a simple function which take a two sum of numbers. 3 plus 2 is 5. So how can we read it? So we have to give a path. So I give it and path, backend and 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 read file. Read file. And, oh, it takes a call. That means we have error function. So it's simple error. Now I write read. Now it takes the comment. Mhm. Read it. Fog. Backend. So error is coming. Fixing computer. So AI is pinging the error. And oh, I didn't have to think about it. Run the code and create. File is not read it. File is not read it. I have to write slash file successfully read it. So if I write here and I say that first and I click here and write how can we read of file data through this module. Good thinking. And here's how you can read data using NodeJS module. It keeps a long code, but it is a method we have used. Most three method it is giving us. There is asynchronous and synchronous. So it is given very interesting data. So here is an fs read file you have understand it, and the inner masala, the um, inner ingredients is available here now. So in inner ingredients, there is an our file name, the file name, and we have tried UTF-8 means the word should be not in JSON, it will be in a text form. And if it didn't write this, then it will give us an output in the JSON format, which is very is like an very heavy task, very heavy task, and it is a callback. So simple as that. There's not a big thing. about it. And here is uh, callback takes two parameters. If error comes, then we throw the error. If data comes, then data. The method told to its synchronous intelligence, and it is we didn't have to read that we did. So we I think here I will this in here and I write the file like let's see if I doesn't put the um, UTF-8, then what happened? If I don't put here UTF-8, then what happened? The SGS, then the file is successfully read and this is the output without UTF-8. If I write UTF, it is what happens. What happens here? It gives an error. Into, here is simple comma. Look at here. If we didn't have these the comma, then how the error comes? Very long error. So in the program or developer, is a we have to be very professional in this field. So we have to notice everything and any comma, even single letters makes a very big mistake and there's an explosion. And every single thing is matter in programming while you're building software and anything. Now let's talk about the next method. To go to the next method, let's revise about the read file again. So in read file, how can we read the data? So if we in server.js, we have written the data, the sum of function, and what we get output data, what we have created in server.js that comes in the output. And if we doesn't put that data in UTF-8 and if we didn't write this UTF-8, then what comes the data? Data comes in the buffer format. So this is not very reliable also for developers, any beginners learning backend. And if we use UTF-8, then it is in a reliable format. That is it. So we have to write a read file. We have to give a path which file we want to read, which particular folder file we want to read. That is how we can read the file and get the output. So let's go to the next method. So next method is reading a file. So I think we have just read a file. We don't read a folder. So next method is we can read a folder. We can read a folder. Let's ask the AI and look cursor AI. So I delete this word of Jesus. I will put out reading file. will ask AI, and I will ask it kind of read the folder through through S module. So it is thinking about it. I'm going to create a folder through FS module, and here you read a folder using the Node.js module. Const fs. So this is the method one. Directory asynchronous. So we have to write dot slash. We have to write dot slash and pattern, and we take parameters, two parameters. Else in error. If error comes, then this code will run. And if the data comes, then this code will run. Okay. Now let's go to the official documentation. Documentation also how we can use it. Now we can read it. R read file. Read file already done. Read folder. So there is no any type of method we're using. So throughout the AI, it is very easy for the developer to get the code fast, get the result or code fast. So there is no any syntax. So we have tried RS, V, DR, and the file name slash backend, backend, backend slash server files, and if error uh, simply copy this. Simply copy. Will explain you what is. But now you will the logic how it is, what is improved, and what is going on in the code. So it is simple error, and if error comes, then error reading directory. If the result comes, then you can simply get the output. CLS, FSCS. So file in directory. There is um, files. What are in the files? What are the files? In dot slash files, we have a backend file, we have a fs file, we have a fs node file, route file. And that is correct. The backend route fs nodes file. That is how we can read a folder. Let's go to the backend. If I run this, so it gives the output called server.js. In backend folder, there is only one file, that is server.js. If I write slash set here, then we in the file there is and we cannot read a file. We can only read a folder. So this backend is a folder. In the back folder there is three mm, folder and two files. Sorry, two folder and two files. So while reading file folder, we take all file and folder names default. And if we run the backend folder, Then there is one file, and it gives us server.js file. Actually, next video I will teach you about protocols and HTTP, because for some reason I will not add this concept in this video. Uh, this is almost 1 hour plus video now, and if I add HTTP in this video, then that video will be too much heavy for students who are looking, and to integrate that topics and revising that thing, revising that concept will be very hard for students. So I'm planning that in next video I will teach you about the protocols, and how the web page do not allow the HTTP and HTTPS. So next video we'll learn about these two topics, and thank you for watching this video, and see you in the next one. It's caught in the crossfire. It's caught in the crossfire.